Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of JTwJE.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, please give us a thumbs up and please subscribe. And also, if you're listening to this on our audio platforms, please give a 5-star rating, please download, and please subscribe. I am thrilled to welcome this entertainment industry veteran. She started out her career as a stunt performer for Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End and The Last Airbender, and plus Pacific Rim and Suicide Squad. She's also an actress that has actually played Riot, Korean Won in Venom and Ostana in Black Widow, and more recently, she is Violet on Paramount Plus, Blood and Treasure. And as of this recording, she has over 10,000 Instagram followers. So please help me welcome Michelle Lee to the podcast.
What's up? What an intro. I love it.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me, Michelle. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's nice to be here.
It's nice to have you here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for getting that was a great intro. You got all the stuff. You got all the juicy bits of all the things. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome. So shall I get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Michelle. So when did you get interested in performing, and how did that passion evolve into the desire to pursue a career in the entertainment industry?
Well, I'm from Los Angeles, and I grew up in LA, so it kind of, came with the territory of being in LA. You're just like, oh, in LA, the kids, you could do acting if you wanted. And I was really shy. I think it started off more as a problem, like an issue where I was terribly shy. I remember I would break out in like a cold sweat if someone even talked to me, just said, "Oh, hello, little girl," and I would just freeze up. And my mom was like, "There's something wrong with you." And she didn't know what to do. She was just like, "I don't know. There's something, she's got this issue. I'll just put her in acting class so she can like open up." And so that terrified me even more. But I kind of saw how other kids were super open and super like having fun while I was like not having fun and terrified. And I was like, oh, maybe that's a better choice. And so it didn't really kick me. It didn't really kickstart my career. It kind of just was enough of a taste to kind of get me thinking about it and like opening up and thinking about, okay, well, I'd rather have fun than not have fun. And it looks funner if I'm not so scared all the time. And it took a while, like it wasn't like she put me in there and then I was fine. It took a while for me to process and grow up and understand that. So that was my first like kind of introduction to acting. And then, as I grew older, I kind of marinated on it and was like, yeah, that's an awesome thing to like be open and have fun and like, play in this imaginary world. So then when I was a little bit more of a grown up, then I pursued it more seriously. And yeah, and it kind of like went hand in hand with my martial arts, because I did martial arts when I was in high school and fell in love with martial arts. And that was just kind of separate. It just was a thing that I loved to do. And then I was like, oh, I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah, that's kind of how I got started. A little background.
That's pretty cool because the thing is, I actually have an uncle who does have martial arts background as well. So he was, he's a black belt, I believe in, like, I could be, but I'm not sure if it's karate or jiu-jitsu. That's he specializes in.
Yeah, that's cool. I love all kinds of martial arts. I respect all kinds of martial arts from every culture. Yeah, it's such a wonderful thing. It's discipline and like, learning your body and learning to stand up for yourself and be strong. Cause I feel like a lot of girls sometimes have that like fear of like, oh, sorry, and like, oh, excuse me, like that kind of timidness. Whereas I think martial arts will break you out of that for sure.
So. Absolutely. And same with, not just martial arts, but CrossFit as well. And I've been around a lot of incredible athletes, and I see people lifting stuff and I'm like, whoop.
Yeah, totally true. Very true. Any kind of active discipline, will really get you out of that, which I think can only be good.
Awesome. So what brought you, I would love to learn how your martial arts background led you to stunts.
Well, it kind of was a thing where, I was auditioning as an actor, and someone came into my martial arts studio and was like, "We need actually a really good friend of mine now, Phil Tan. He came into our martial arts studio and was like, "We need girls that are, of Asian descent to audition for a fight scene." And I was like, "Oh, I do auditions." And I was like, "I do fight scenes in class all day. Like, I'll do it." And he was like, "Okay." And turns out I booked it, and that was Pirates of the Caribbean 3 with Chow Yun-fat. And I was like, oh my God, Chow Yun-fat, really? And I was super stoked because I'm a huge fan of him. And so to get to do that and on a Pirates film was really exciting. And that kind of like introduced me to the whole community and stunts and knowing what stunts was about, and like being like, oh, I can fight, and like I can, do these things I didn't know was possible in filmmaking, which was stunts. So that's kind of how martial arts led me into it.
And that's incredible too. So, because some of the stunt work that you've been a part of was including the Pirates franchise, but also you did Last Airbender, Pacific
Yes.
Rim, and the first Suicide Squad. So, what were some of the lessons that helped you grow as a performer from being on all these sets?
The lessons that helped me grow as a performer. I mean, it's just, I guess, experience and time on set. There's nothing like it. I feel like spending hours on a set, you just absorb kind of the way things flow, the way you kind of have to be. You kind of always have to be a helper, not like a hinderer. You can't be someone that's always stopping production because you're not ready on time, or you don't want to get out of your trailer, or like, stupid things like that. And if you want to, be a person working in the industry, you have to be a helper. You have to facilitate things and do your best to make things work and flow. And so I think that's a key thing that you learn on set that, I think is really important to get you continuously working, to be like, oh, she's a helper. She's going to do her job. She's going to make things flow. She's going to make things flow instead of stop. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I don't know what that
That
makes
totally makes sense, and I like hearing about like that about like this is the first time I heard about a helper and harmer and like those like in that vocabulary. I've been doing interviews since 2011, and this is the first time I've heard this term.
I mean, it's not a real term. I feel like I made it up, but like it's I feel like you'll start to understand when you get, like, for example, an actor that is 4 hours late to set, and you're like, everyone's just like, oh my God, waiting and waiting. And and I get it, people have busy schedules and all that stuff, but then there's a whole team of people waiting, sitting there, you know waiting for you, you know what I mean? Or to just be kind of a team player is what I mean, like, because everyone's there trying to do everything for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, the crew, the director, the producers, the makeup people, the actors, everyone's there to do something. And if you're kind of holding things up, then it's a big bummer.
I've heard a lot of stories. I've read a lot of stories about people. It's very sad because I respect everyone on your particular role and your particular job, and if one person is holding everything up, no one's happy.
Right. Right. Exactly.
All right. Do you have any particular stunts that you record that you were memorable to you that you got to film?
Um, there's so many that are memorable. It's such a fun career. I mean, on the last Airbender, we descended, I don't know, 50 feet from these tall, amazing, beautiful trees on a wire. And it was like, I don't know, 10, 15 of us. And we were in these awesome outfits, and they flowed, and they descend. When we descended, it was like, and it just felt magical. It's like a moment, and your face is painted white, and you're like, what up? I'm going to kill you, like, um That one, I love that movie because of that memory. Because it's kind of like, I never get to, just being in nature 50 feet up, like flying through the trees. It's just memorable. I was in a helicopter for that TV show Lost, with no doors on the helicopter
Oh,
and
wow.
just the helicopter sideways. So I'm looking at the water, the crystal blue clear water, and I'm like, okay, that's beautiful, but I don't want to fall in because there's just no doors. There's no seatbelt. I'm holding onto a harness. So let's go. And the helicopter was spinning like out of control, as if it, was out of control. That was fun.
Okay. As a severe acrophobic, a fear of heights, that sounds all terrifying to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. I get to drift cars sometimes, drift cars in a police chase, like, they're getting me. It's things that you just kind of like dream of doing as a kid, and like getting to play those roles as an actor is super fun because I can do, I get to be the actor as well, and um yeah, it's like it couldn't be better of a job.
I gotta say, I that's incredible. And one of the things that I found incredible is you starred in not one but two Marvel productions in two different universes. So you have Venom, where you played Riot, aka Corinne Wan, in the Spider-Man universe, so in Sony's Spider-Man universe, and you have Oscana and Black Widow in the main Marvel Cinematic Universe. So can you describe both those experiences to my audience, please?
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool to get to be a part of both. You know what I mean? And to get to be a little bit of Riot is super fun. Like I got to interpret it my own way and be like, well, what if Riot was inside me? How would I do it? And it was fun. And it's a nice little part that I feel like means a lot to the story. And same with Black Widow. Um, and then getting to fight Florence Pugh was so cool. So I mean, both those worlds are iconic. They're just you know super fun to
I,
be.
I prefer the Black Widow world because I symbiotes and I do not mix. My friend, the Venom vlog, who does all things Venom, he tried to calm me down from Venom, but like seriously, symbiotes scared the heck out of me.
They are. They're freaky. They're really scary. And and the way they move, the way they do the CGI, I feel like I've seen materials in Earth that move like that, and it kind of is too close to home. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, Venom. I was happy to see, spoiler alert, I was happy to see Tom Hardy in Spider-Man No Way Home, but I was like, wait, where's Venom? I'm like, ready to jump.
yeah, it was cool. I thought Tom Hardy did a great job.
Absolutely. So I want to talk to you about Paramount Plus's Blood and Treasure. So you joined the cast as Violet, Lexi's former partner of crime. So can you describe how Violet is similar or different to any character you portrayed in your career?
Um, Violet has in her mind altruistic motives, and she is passionate, and she loves her friend, and I feel like that's a really fun character to play because everything she does is because of that reason, is a driving force. Like she wants to dominate the world with her friend, and that's what's so fun about Violet. And she's a big player. She does big things, and she's very covert about it, which I think is super cool. I mean, I don't want to give things away, but like it's a great character to play, and she's the show was so fun to shoot because we shot it over a span of 6 months in Montreal, Thailand, Italy. Like we just got to go to so many places and see so many different locations. It was like the locations in that, to me, felt like big, huge movie budget, not TV. And so it was like making a big, huge feature film. And it was so fun. Everybody on this cast was so talented, and just a great time.
I gotta say, screen hopping from like country hopping, that is absolutely incredible. From Montreal and Italy. to Thailand. That's just absolutely amazing.
Isn't it? Can you imagine like the places, the hotels we stayed in, the experiences, the locations? We shot one in a floating market in Thailand where it was just all boats and these little huts built on sticks that came out of the water. It was like called a floating market. It was so cool. And in Italy, they shot in the Vatican. How do you do that?
Yes.
I was like, how do you do that? How does that happen? And they're like, well, CBS just, asked and got permission. And I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't have any scenes inside the Vatican. I went to Italy, but I wasn't inside the Vatican. And I was like, God dang, that's so cool. I want to go to the Vatican, but I didn't get to go. But they did, the other actors did. And it was so awesome. And Montreal is a great town. It's a great town. Such good food.
I gotta say, I envy you for not. I am in your position. I would not be happy if I was left behind and you were filming in the Vatican.
I
Like
know.
it would have been that is history right there.
I
And
know.
then I gotta say with Thailand, I'm glad you guys were not hurt during that because I'm like when you hear the floating markets, I'm like, okay, these are people's livelihoods. We have to protect them at all costs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was really cool. It was really cool to get to see that and how they operate in their day-to-day life and get to be a part of that, for a little bit. Um, yeah, and there's some cool locations in Montreal too. So
That's just amazing. I bet your passport is filled with stamps saying
it
"Welcome to
is.
Thailand," "Welcome to France," "Welcome to
It is.
Canada."
But then in the height of COVID happened right when we were in Thailand. So there was this like big rush, like you guys all have to go home. And we're like, why? For what? Because in Thailand we didn't hear about it like I think in America did. I think America it started first, and we were like, why are we going home? What's happening? Like what's going on? And they're like, everybody go home. And we're like, why? It's so great here.
You were going to be shut down. You were going to shut the country was going to U.S. was going to shut down, and you're not going to be. You would be
Yeah,
stranded
that's
in
what they
Thailand.
said. They're like, if you don't leave now, you're gonna be stuck here. And we're like, huh? Why? It just because like in Thailand, it was so lovely there. I was like, well, I can be stuck here. It's lovely here in Thailand. But who knew what it was? Who could predict what it was? No, I don't think anybody could have guess what kind of an impact it would have on everything, all aspects of life.
Yeah, I just recovered from COVID for the first time. I had it like thank God I had it now than I did in 2020, 2021.
Oh wow, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm like grateful. Like, and I was in New York City during shutdown and to phase four from March 2020 to August 2020. It was a ghost town. It felt like Walking Dead. It felt like I Am Legend. It's just haunted memories.
Yeah, crazy, crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
but the good news is we're talking here today and we're both doing well, so that's great.
Yes, and Zoom has become such a big part of our lives, hasn't it? Everything's
Zoom and StreamYard. I'm like very grateful to have this because otherwise I would not be able to have like this technology is amazing to at least squeeze to sit down in.
yeah,
And I bet it's been helpful to you for like all your auditions.
yeah, yeah. We used to have to drive all around town in LA to go to auditions, and now it's like submit something. It's like, oh, that's good and bad also because when you submit something, there's like 100 more thousands more people that submit, and then you know, yeah, it's good and it's bad, but because being
As
in the
long
field
as
is also wonderful.
and as long as you can perform stunts like at a gym or somewhere, but not in your house, because I have a feeling that doing a karate chop and breaking something would not be good with your landlord.
Yeah, no, we'll save that for when we actually shoot.
Awesome. So, what are some of your What are some of the best ways that you connect with your fans, like on social media? Do you have a favorite app you like?
Oh, I love me some TikTok. It's a time suck, but I love TikTok. I do silly things on TikTok. I use Instagram a lot. So those two would be, stop by and say hi, and I'd love to. just chat with people whenever possible. And yeah.
Now, for me, I haven't got into TikTok yet, Michelle, because the thing is, I'm worried I'd be like a major wormhole and I wouldn't get out of it.
Don't do it then because it is. It is. It's like, I'm like, get off this thing. But I can't help it because the algorithm's so good and it gives you the content that you want to see. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've seen a girl or a guy dance ever because that's not what I want to see. So I scroll the way I scroll. And so, I'm sure it's out there, but that's just not what I want to see. And so I just love it because the algorithm's actually quite good. So
Like, give me food stuff. Give
totally
me pop culture stuff. Like,
recipe.
give me desserts. Give me desserts. Give me some Disney stuff. Give me some
Yes,
Universal stuff. Give me
yeah,
some pop culture stuff, and I will consume it. I do
yes,
not want to watch any dancing.
yeah, exactly. And they'll know it by the way you scroll, and then you'll be like, oh, this is all the content that I want, which I feel like Instagram is not doing that very well. So
But here's the
Instagram
thing.
a lot of things that I don't want to see, you know.
Yeah, the thing is with Instagram is like basically it's like a photo. It's like basically when Facebook started out, it's turned into a photo album. And I
Mhm.
can do, in all honesty, I can't. I love shooting videos, but like, it's like okay, where's the line? I have to draw the line somewhere.
Right. Exactly. By the way, this looks like a beer. I just realized it's not beer. I'm like, it looks like I'm drinking beer, but it's sparkling water.
I love some sparkling waters as well. I love one of my favorite things is Celsius. I am addicted to that.
Oh yeah, it gives you good energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we got to start winding down our conversation, Michelle. So if you had the opportunity to meet with stunt performers who want to transition into acting, what advice would you share with them?
Some performers that want to transition into acting. I mean, I feel like it sounds cliche, but go for it. As in, don't get hindered and caught up into things that keep you in the stunt world or in the world that you are in, whether it's like, if you're a PA or something that you're on the sidelines, because if you want to be an actor, and continuously do it and push for it, because it's easy to get sidetracked. And so yeah, that's what I'd say. Like, hold true to it. Don't let people tell you can't do it.
Awesome. And the last question, are you ready?
Yeah.
Where can they find Blood and Treasure, and where can they connect with you on social media, Michelle?
Oh, find Blood and Treasure on Paramount Plus. It's called Blood and Treasure Season 2. That's the one I'm in. And you can find me on social media like TikTok or Instagram it's __ Michelle Lee.
Awesome. So, guys, if you miss an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, visit our channels on Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts, our new channel, iHeartRadio, which is a huge goal of mine. So, I'm so happy that we're on there. Podcast Addict, Spotify, and Spreaker. Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Michelle, Jake's Take is celebrating 11 years this year, and we're
Oh
about
my
ready to hit
God.
off 12.
Congrats. Awesome.
Thank you so much. If you guys want to check out more articles and interviews and reviews, head to jakes-take.com. Michelle, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Also, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to listening. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.